What's good, everybody? Just getting set up here. Looks like we're good with YouTube. Looks like Twitch is good to go. We're just waiting on Facebook, and I think we can start our live tutorial. Alright, looks like we got Facebook on now too. Dope. Okay, cool. So guys, give me a quick sec. I'm just setting up. Today I'm going to show you guys how to use Liquid Kicks Topcoats Scratch Resistant Sealer. If you are wondering how do people get to protect their shoes, this is what I use, and I think this is what a lot of artists now are just using in general. It's become a pretty standard. So let me pull up the box, because just sent me a box, bruh. Let's get it. Feel good. So here's the box. It just kind of opened up the top already. Customs by Kev. What's good, big homie? Customs by Kev over on Facebook. No, not Facebook, my bad. YouTube. How you been, man? We're about to do some. I don't know. You probably used Liquid Kicks before, right? No worries, man. I was just thankful that you even offered, Kev. I really appreciate it. I never get a chance to pick those markers up, so it'll be great to kind of see how it is. If it's easier than the coffee method too, you know. Alan, what's good? Patreon fam, what's good, homie? How you living? About to do another tutorial today. Just waiting for a couple of people to jump on. Customs by Kev's at hell. LK is the is fire. Yeah, absolutely, man. This is a lot of people have been asking, like, what do you do to protect your artwork? And I was blessed. Jeff sent over a package, so then that way we can kind of experiment with what we can do with his products today. I've got a pair of kicks here. I got to seal them anyways. I think you guys remember these kicks. If you guys follow me live, we painted these kicks together. I put this second swoosh on here, and then I basically just sewed it in. We painted that. This was white before. Now I painted it like a mist or a light gray color. And then after that, we also painted this. This was green, and we painted this guy into like a steel blue, I guess you can call it. Back portion also was painted. It was green in the back. I believe the Nike sign was white, so I don't think I touched the Nike sign, but I did change the green in the back here to the same color, steel blue. And then this end here as well, we did steel blue. So just showing you guys a recap. If you didn't join me on the last time we were working on these blazers, I would say about maybe a month ago I was working on these blazers. So we're gonna coat these swooshes up. We'll coat the back here. I'll use the brush for that. Then I've got another pair over here as well. This is the same shoe, and I customized this shoe. It was all white, and this shoe now is all green pretty much. Very Celtics vibe here. It's got a nice Celtic green color to it. Dyed the suede portion here. Dyed the cap here black as well. And then we hit the swooshes here with the black swoosh. Hit the green. This was all green here with black. Hit the white with green. So it pretty much made this a completely different colorway shoe. All right. So hopefully I caught you guys up okay there. So this one here I'll airbrush today. The other side, which is just really the swooshes that I did, I'll be doing that, just hand painting it with some brushes. I'll use some Princeton brushes. That way, if you don't have an airbrush, you can still see the process on how to do it by hand. All right. So I think that's a pretty clear recap. If you guys didn't get something, just let me know. Let me put these guys to the side though. Let's see what we got inside the box. What's in the box? All right, guys. So I did open the top. I didn't get a chance to see what is on the inside, but lace me out with the. And they got the LK official tissue paper and all, man. Look at this. LK MVP release. I feel like a champ today, bro. It's an MVP release for Feel Good Threads LA. So it's our Instagram right there. Oh man, Rainin, anytime, bro. And actually, I should probably, even before I'll unbox this, and then I'll give you guys a heads up on Alpha 6's paints. I got you guys a discount code. I guess it didn't work for some people, but we got that all cleared up now. So Webb's Custom Kicks, Patreon family, what's good? How you living, homie? Custom by Kev said just bought LK primer, haven't tried it yet though. That's a great product, man. That's something you use for like plastic things like Jordan 4 Wings logos. You can also use it on other plastic pieces as well, but that primer is supposed to be really good to use, you know. Okay, Raynon, great point, man. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you for that, Alan. 08 Raynon 08 says, when did you need the pictures for the shout out? Hopefully I'll be done with this pair I'm working right now by this weekend. I think that's a good time, man. I think if you guys can get me your pictures, and I'm talking specifically to the Patreon folks here, if you guys can give me a picture, send it to me, DM through Instagram. Feel Good Threads LA again is the Instagram handle. Please send me one of your pieces of art that you've been working on so I can shout you guys out. We've got about 40 Patreon members right now, so that's about 40 pics. I would like to get as many in as possible all at the same time. That way I can share your guys' art with the rest of the world, and hopefully we can get you guys some more followers and just more exposure in general. You know, I'm really happy to help you guys out with that. And not only that, like I said in the post, I'm really proud of how you guys have been growing. So I really appreciate you guys, man. This is just one way I can thank you guys. So yeah, man, that's a good question, Raynon. If you can get it by the weekend, that would be great, man. I'll wait for you guys. I know we just put that post out today, so you know we got to give some time to people to kind of get their best pictures together anyways, right? So let's see what else we got here. BX Mully said, hey, Customs by Kev, I would like to make an order soon and was wondering if you had a website or something. Oh, sick. Customs by Kev, bro. You're getting hit up. Webb's Custom Kicks said, I want them white and blue ones. Man, shout out Webbs, man. He's working on big projects too. Okay, cool. BX Mully found your site, so I think you're good. I do, Custom by Kevin. Let me send you a link right now. Absolutely, bro. Let me unbox this, and then I'll send you guys all a link to the Patreon if you guys would like to join. Shout out to the last Patreon member that ended up winning this pack. I'm still waiting for this dude to get in touch with me, man. I've got a 9-pack of Alpha Flex for our last winner. I've emailed him, I've messaged him, and I haven't gotten any word back, so I got to figure out what to do. I wish I had dude's phone number. I would hit him up on I'd call him, dude, and let him know, but hopefully he'll get back to me. We do have new stuff today, though, so let's go over that real quick. The first thing that I see right away is this. Oh, they got new packaging, too, and this is a bigger bottle than what I'm used to, so look at what the old packaging looked like versus the new. That's a big difference, right? And this one I think was it 4 ounces, 2 ounces? This one is certainly bigger, that's for sure. LK top coats can be applied with an airbrush or a soft bristle brush in 1 to 3 coats. Allow top coat to dry between coats before continuing to the next coat. This part is important, guys. He puts it here on purpose. A hairdryer can be used on low heat to accelerate drying. Never use a heat gun. Never use a heat gun. I bet a lot of you guys haven't read that, so never use a heat gun on this. Full directions and more info can be found on lktopcoats.com. If you guys want to buy this, I did leave a link in the beginning, and I did put my discount code, which is just the word feel good, FEELGOOD, no spaces, and I believe it's 10 or 15% off if you want to get this product. Let's see what else it says here. LK top coats are unique water-based coatings designed to be used as a final finish on surfaces such as leather, vinyl, fabric, wood, plastic, rubber, and more. They're extremely flexible, during crystal clear, scratch resistant, and permanent. LK top coats always dries to a perfect finish that feels soft and luxurious. All right, so shout out to Jeff at LK, man. He's made an amazing product. I'm really happy that you brought this box through, especially because I see some other stuff in here that I don't have myself, and I've been waiting to test out. So we've got the high gloss, we've got the matte, and you can see the different colors as I run through this. Gloss top coat. So I'll put them in order of glossiness. So we've got high gloss, then we've got gloss, and we've got matte. Then I've got a factory top coat, which is kind of going to be in the middle there. So if you want that factory finish, guys, you want to get this blue one here. So there goes 4 there. Let's see what else I got. A sticker. Cool. Here's another one. And this is the flat. Alright. So I believe this is the order is, if you want to go from shiny to least shiny, you're going to go high gloss, which is the shiniest. Then you got gloss. So high gloss would be like on a Jordan 11. You want to do like a patent, Jordan 11 kind of patent leather kind of a look. You'd want to do a high gloss for that. Then you've got a gloss top coat. Gloss can be used as well. It's just not as shiny. So I would recommend going with the high gloss. Factory is going to be the standard factory that you see when you're buying a pair of shoes from a Foot Locker. The matte is going to have less shininess to it. Consider it like a satinish matte look. So minimal shininess. And I believe the flat is going to be the flattest. Almost no shine to it at all. So if you want a military style vibe, you're doing like, for example, an army green. You're doing like a gunmetal. You're doing, what else? A flat black. And you want it to be a real flat looking. Then you'd want to go with this flat top coat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different finishes here that you guys can go with. Now this is an interesting little guy here. This is an LK Pinhole Filler. So if you guys don't know about the pinhole, this is if you take off. Do I have anything here that I've taken off? No. Okay. Well, if you take off a swoosh, you got a bunch of leather holes that have been pierced through, and if you want to clean all of those holes out, you'd want to use something like a pinhole filler. This basically will fill in all of the holes on the swoosh, and then once those are filled in, then you can start applying paint on top of it. All right. So a lot of people are looking for like a Travis Scott look. They take off that swoosh on the front, and they don't know how to fill those holes. This is what you need. You need LK Pinhole. All right. I think that's everything I got in here. Oh man, I don't think I got that primer, yo. No primer. Let's see, because Customs by Kev was just mentioning the primer, and I don't think I got any. I got a bunch of these little circular things. What is this? Ah, okay, cool. More stickers. Yeah, these are stickers. So I do know that they had some other stuff going on. Here's, almost forgot probably the biggest thing in here. Let's try to pull it out real carefully. There we go. Oh snap! Look at that. That is sick. Yo, Liquid Kicks. That's a step above, man. He put my logo on there, Feel Good Threads, and he did it in that Ferrari. I think it's a Ferrari, right, or a Lamborghini font. So thank you so much for that, man. Dang, I was gonna ask you for this to give away to one of the Patreon folks, but we'll talk, man. Thank you so much, bro. Jeff, this is incredible, man. I really appreciate everything, man. So let's jump into the products, man. Let's I gotta finish these guys up with. Let's do a factory, I guess. Factory for one, and then for the other one, I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna do. We can mess around. We'll mess with a flat top coat to give it that real flat sheen at the end. Okay. I'm gonna put this stuff all to the side, and if you guys have any questions about this, let me know. I'm pretty familiar with all the products now. I've gotten used to them. All right, drop that guy down, and let's pick up our first victim. This is the double swoosher, kind of a Sakai kind of a vibe here. I like these, man. They came out really nice. So first things first, little hairs and fibers, anything that you see on here, you want to kind of clean them off. I know for a fact that they've been kind of sitting around for a minute, so they've probably collected a little bit of dust. So you want to make sure that before you start on this guy, you clean off any sections that you're going to hit with the sealer. Otherwise, what happens is you're going to seal a bunch of like small hair fibers and dust and all that stuff. Won't look good at the end, all right? Usually I just can do this. If you guys really want to get technical, you can get a brush and brush it all off, or even if you get something like just a paper towel, and that'll give you a nice enough surface there to add the scratch resistant sealer. So that looks good. All right, I'm going to start off with the factory top coat here. This will give it a factory finish. Right now, I would say it's pretty close to a factory finish. It's not glossy. It's not super matted out either. It's kind of right in between. So I don't expect for this guy to change too much. All right. So let's just grab a little plate here. Again, this is the factory top coat. It's in blue. I'm pretty sure it has a protective coat. So let's see. Yeah, it does. Cool. It's a fun part. Let's see if I can get off. You got almost 0 nails. All right, cool. Dope. And what I'll do is I'll give it a quick shake. It's been sitting in packaging for a long time, you know? So who knows how long it's been settled out. Nice, dude. Rainin, I just read your post. It says, craziest ish happened. Lace Lab shared my shoes twice. Nah, that's not hard to believe at all, man. Got about 500 likes. Wow, that's great. Congratulations, man. Just for kicks. What's good, brother? How you doing, man? Jackson, everything good? Oh, you already know about the heat gun on all the LK top coats, huh? I think the reason they say that is because it doesn't cure in the way it's supposed to. I think it needs to just naturally cure. You know what I mean? So let me read this real quick. It says, Suhail, we appreciate you so much for always being such an amazing support through thick and thin. You are such a valuable role model in this community. Oh, that's, man, thank you. I really appreciate it, man. This is from Jeff and Bell. Best from Jeff and Bell. So Jeff, thank you. Thank Bell for me as well. I really appreciate you guys. And I didn't really mean to be a role model, man. I just meant to paint shoes and enjoy my life. So that's a huge compliment for me, man. Thank you again, dude. Appreciate you. So let's jump into it, guys. I got the factory coat ready to go. I'm not gonna put too much because it doesn't require too much. I'm gonna just drop a little bit in there. And I know Customs by Kev had just asked, ooh, keep it balanced, bruh. Cool. He had asked for the link for Patreon. So let me just drop that link up real quick. Patreon.com/feelgoodthreadsla. I think we should be good. Patreon.com/feelgoodthreadsla. There you go, brother. That's all for you. Anybody who's interested in joining, we've got the Art of Detail coming up. That is where I show you guys how to do shadows, 3D effects, and more on a hand-painted pair of Jordan 1s. It's on a pair of, the theme was, what's the theme? Simpsons. The theme was Simpsons. So if you guys are into the Simpsons, you'll appreciate it twice. So let me get, let's see, gotta get one brush here. That looks pretty clean. And let me just clean it off. So it said soft bristle brush. This guy is hard as nails here. So I'm gonna just soften up the bristles a little bit. There we go. Always a good way to start. Have a nice soft base here to start with, okay? And you can tell already, look, there's a little bit of paint, so that's probably why it was hard. But now I could already feel my brush is already, it actually stretches and flexes and bends. So now I know it's soft enough, okay? Again, I've only got a couple of things that I've painted on this. So if you're just painting small things like the swooshes and stuff, this will work perfect, all right? I'm gonna dip my brush in, and I'm gonna try, let's just work on a small panel at a time. Let's start with the blue. You can see that I'm gonna try to spread it real thin. The brush that I'm using, guys, is a flat angular. Probably I'd say my favorite brush because it covers so many different bases. It's a very good all-around, general kind of a brush. See how I can get in like slim little spots like this. And now what I'll do is try to spread the LK top coat all the way through and get it to really thin out. If I can see like lines, or if I could see anything that looks unnatural, we're going to try to move it off real lightly. And that'll be one coat. It's just that simple. what I like to do is, I notice that as I go through the swoosh here, sometimes there'll be a little excess, and if you keep doing light strokes on it, eventually it'll evaporate, and that's when I know that I'm kind of done with that one coat. There we go. See? This is the time where you'd want to use that hair dryer on low setting if you're in a rush. But, you know, my recommendation is just let it naturally dry. So that's that first coat there. Alright, that's on the blue there. So real quick, before I keep going on the next portion here, oh, just for kicks and chilling and painting. You're in the same boat as me, brother. If FT don't hit you up, those lows are dope. What is he talking about here? Let me go back up real quick. Oh, Customs by Kev, man. You'll get that love by Foxtrot, man. I seen the work that you were doing on those other shoes. It's just a matter of time, brother. Just keep posting. That's really what it boils down to. Just good like solid posts of clear work. Like I was telling some of the Patreon guys on your artwork when you're posting, you want to make sure the lighting is nice and even. You want to make sure the lighting isn't too harsh. You want to make sure that the overall background is nice and clear. You don't have a bunch of junk unless you're shooting like a, you know, in progress kind of a shot. But yeah, man, you just gotta keep posting, and eventually you'll get somebody like Foxtrot to shout you out. I think Foxtrot is also looking for shoes that are really popular too, though. Like obviously Jordan 1 is their main gig there. So if you use that, I think you said the stainer is what you used. If you use that stainer on some Jordan 1s, I bet you have a better probability there of getting featured. Congrats to all you guys, man. That's great you guys are getting featured and looking to get featured, though. So real quick, Webb's Custom Kick said, I was a guest on a podcast, guys, just talking about being an entrepreneur. I gave out a lot of free gems. Yo, that's great. Yo, Webb's has a lot of gems, man. You contribute a lot here, too, bro. So definitely something to check out. Webb's, if you get a chance, did you... Oh, it looks like you can't post a link. Is that what happened? Everyone go. Oh no, you did post a link. Cool. As you're posting that link, I'm just gonna keep going here. But yeah, Webbs, great job, man. What is the podcast called? Is there a title for that? Everybody moving up. The family moving up, man. That's always a pleasure to see. Notice how quick I'm just flicking it up. If you get it on the upper and you know it's white, it's leather or whatever, it just kind of disappears into it. So you got to be perfect with this. Just want to be good enough to cover the part you painted, though. There we go. So I got that side there. I like to work in like little segments, so that way I know where I'm at when I covered that side, then I can get to the next side. See, like this side here I haven't done yet. Again, real simple. Sometimes I will add too much liquid kicks in a section, so I'll take it off and then I'll try to move it to a second area that I haven't touched yet. So for example here I've kind of overdid it, dipped a little hard. So if I dip a little hard, then I'll just try to take off that excess and I'll move it over to a different section. So then you kind of get used to working 2 or 3 small sections at a time. But in the beginning, if you feel uncomfortable or you're just starting off, I would recommend just doing a small section at a time like this. Get it nice and smooth, have that flat finish, and then you can move on. So that's one coat on that Nike back tab. one coat on the swooshes on this side, and I've got like a minor coat on this side. So let me just finish this guy off real quick. The amount of sealer that you pick up off your brush matters. So you don't want to pick up too much. Usually if you had to pick up between too much and too little, I would recommend you start with too little and just keep going from there. Because if you overdo it and have too much of the sealer on here, then you're going to be swiping all day long. Plus you want a thin coat, you know? Keep them thin. Let them build. You build the layers up. That's already looking really good. And it's really easy to use this stuff. I mean, it's literally, I'm just picking up a brush and brushing, trying to get the swoosh as much as possible. But if I overlay on top of the white, it's okay. I'm not like stressing about it. It's going to dry, and it's going to dry clear, so you won't even notice it. The only time you should worry about that is if you have like another kind of fabric or suede, for example. Then you want to be more accurate with this. There we go. So that's that swoosh all done. So we've got one nice coat going for this whole guy here. I usually keep it at about 2 coats. I don't see you having a necessity for the 3rd coat unless you're really doing thin coats, you know. So let's go ahead and let that dry. I'm going to let that dry for like a couple of minutes, you know. And let me just read what you guys are talking about here. John B, that's the question of the year, man. He said, so what is the best paint to use now? I don't think there's like a best paint, bro. I mean, it's a matter of preference. There's so many different paints that are out there. Some people are using Createx. Some people use Angelus. Now I'm using Alpha Flex. What else is out there? Oh, Jacquard. I mean, essentially, you're looking for a water-based acrylic paint. And a lot of people now are starting to gravitate towards Alpha Flex. Alpha Flex seems to cover the best. And then they also have this other... they have Alpha Air, which is if you want to just put it straight into the airbrush. You don't have to put any additives or mix anything. Alpha Air, you could just put it right into the actual cup and just start spraying. So really just depends on you, man. If you feel like, you know, you can benefit from Alpha Flex, dude. Alpha Flex has kind of been my go-to now. And I'm going to be doing a mural pretty soon as well using Alpha Flex paint. So yeah, stay tuned, man. Sorry, that's kind of a general answer. You know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to sway people one way or another. You know what I mean? If you do want this Alpha Flex, I'll send you this link because I have a, they ended up giving me a discount code. And in the beginning, they said, did you want to use a discount code for yourself? Or did you want to use it and give it to your subscribers? So I just give it to you guys. I believe it's 10% off on all Alpha Flex products. You can just click on and see. I think it's the second. Well, first off, if you guys appreciate the work here that I do, if you guys can support that first link, that one says at streamlabs.com/feelgoodthreads. That's if you want to donate. I really appreciate it if you guys can donate anything. The next link is LK Topcoats. That's what we're using today. If you use the code FEELGOOD, you can get a discount there. Then Alpha 6 Corporation, you use the same code FEELGOOD, you'll get a discount there as well. The brushes that I'm using, these are brushes from Princeton. I didn't mention that earlier, so I want to make sure you guys know. Princeton Select. This one today I'm using a 3/8 inch flat angular brush, and I'm using that because this panel is big enough for me to use this brush. If the swoosh was something a lot smaller, for example the size of a shoelace or something, I might want to use a smaller brush. The links are there for I found these on Amazon, so you can get either the detail brushes or these Princeton Select brushes. And then lastly, the airbrush that I use is the Iwata HPCS airbrush. This is, I mean, out of all the airbrushes, my favorite airbrush. Not sponsored by them. I just love the airbrush. This is my second one. The only reason I even got a second one is because my first one was just super old. And I guess, you know, after some time, I'm just like, you know what, I should invest in myself and get a nice brush, you know. A lot of times I leave, I should be cleaning these a lot better than I do. Let's just put it that way. So let's clean this guy up, speaking of, because we're going to have to use it next. And here I'm going to just clean the needle off. It's important to have a nice clean needle before we start. Otherwise the trigger will just kind of hold the needle up. You won't get a nice smooth spray. So that's nice and clean. Drop that guy back in real quick. And before I start, I always want to check the front end as well. Sometimes there'll be paint on the front end, and you know, if you're trying to shoot at something but there's a shield in front of it, you're going to shoot that shield first. So let's see if I can get this off. I have not used my airbrush for it's probably been weeks now because I've been just doing recons. But I like to kind of look through. Yeah, I could see through that. Okay, good. And the same thing with the nozzle here. I want to make sure I could look through and see something through the nozzle. Usually I'll put something white in front of myself so I could see a white circle in there, and I do see a white circle, so we're good to go. That means for once I actually clean this thing decent. And so I'll put the nozzle back on. I'll make sure it's on. If I don't have it on correctly, if it's like loose and it just kind of falls off like this, then the airbrush will leak paint out from here. So you got to make sure it's really nicely like put together here. So I put it in. I feel like it's nice and tight. Then I'll very carefully make sure that because this has a screw on. You can see the threads here. You really want to get straight on there and then screw it on right. There we go. And then lastly, I just hand tighten it. I know it comes with a little tightening tool here. Let me show you guys the tool. This guy here. You can also use this, but don't overdo it, you know. This is just to make sure that it locks in nice and there's no air leaking from there. If there's air leaking, then your paint will not come out. or it might come out, it just won't come out as strong. Alright, so that's good. Where did I put this little nozzle piece here? I know it just fell. Where did you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Here it is. Cool. Alright, now that this is good to go, before I shoot it on the actual shoe, I'm going to just put a little bit of acetone in there. And I like to just shoot the acetone out. I think I had to turn this guy on. I think it's off. Hold on for a sec. There we go. I just turned the compressor on. Compressor is what powers this guy up. And I just want to see how it shoots out. Is it shooting out smooth? Is it not? Let's see if I can shoot it here so y'all can see too. Okay, ran out of acetone there, so I'm gonna just always want to make sure it's looking smooth and straight when you shoot. Y'all see that? See, I could feel that it's shooting straight out. There's nothing blocking it. Alright, so we're good to go on that. Okay. So now this is why I would recommend you guys use the LK top coat in an airbrush form, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing. This time we're going to use an airbrush, okay? So factory top coat, that's the same one that I was using before, okay? Demore, did you say he gave me the primer, bro? Am I tripping? Where'd that box go? I'll check the box right now, bro, if it is. John B, of course, man. I haven't used the Alpha Air yet, bro. I just unboxed that the other day, to be honest with you. So I'm looking forward to using it. I just haven't used it yet. The one paint that I'm super excited to use, and I was talking to Alan about this, Rainin, was this one here. This is called the Mermaid Color. And you guys can see it on the bottom. It shifts different colors. So like this is a green here. And then if you shift it at a different angle, it turns blues and purples. They have another one too that's called Sunset, I believe. Should have got that one too, man. But you know, this was a little pricier when it came to the paints. But look at the mix on that, dude. It's pretty dope that it can turn different colors. So this one here, I'm excited to use that. This is an Alpha Flex. So I think that I'm going to be able to use this through the airbrush, but I might have to thin it out a little bit. Also, you need to have a black base coat first. So whatever you're painting has to be black, and then you shoot this on top. All right, if you want to have that color changing effect. All right, so let's jump into the airbrush real quick. Let me drop in some factory top coat. Again, same top coat I was just using, but now we're going to do it a different method. We're going to do it using an airbrush. Okay, I put in just a little bit. Maybe I overdid that. Usually you don't need that much. So let's go ahead and drop this in. And notice that when I do this, guys, I'm going to just kind of tuck in things that I don't want to get, you know, any kind of primer or sealer or anything like that on. So when I do it, I like to kind of cover stuff up. It doesn't need to be a perfect cover, but I do cover things up that are fabric related. And you'll see here I can just guesstimate where the swoosh is. Y'all see how I'm just kind of... Actually, you know what I need to use? He gave it to me, so I should be using it. Let me use this real quick. And this is why I like this little guy here, because I don't have to hold the actual shoe now. This can hold the shoe for me at a good angle, see? And again, I'm just using light coats. Instead of brushing it on, this is kind of falling on top of the actual shoe. And it's almost like a light, when it lightly snows, you know, or lightly rains, it's just sprinkling it right on top. See, so that looks good. This is my second coat here. And just to remember, this side's drying, so I don't want to just flip it immediately and then hit it against there. So I'm going to just kind of lean it up like this. And same thing, I'm just kind of going over the swooshes. If it hits the white sections, it's not a big deal. Just covering the laces there. So you guys can see that it's going through the brush, and it's going through real smooth. And when you can see that there's wet spots, that's how I can tell in the light that it's actually laying down on the actual swoosh. See that wet spot right there on the top? And if you look at this side, it's already pretty much dried. It's like a little bit there, but yeah, in general this is all dried up on this side. So what do you guys think? How many of you guys use LK's products already? Some of you guys are like, yo, this is like basic stuff, right? But for a lot of you guys that are just jumping into customizing, this is important for you guys to know. How do you guys keep your work, the hours of time that you've put into your work, how do you protect it? And this is probably the most important step, is to protect it the right way. So this looks getting there, factory finish. All right. So as this is finishing up, I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to just clear the airbrush out, and we're going to work on that second shoe real quick. All right. Look how quickly I can get through the second shoe with an airbrush. That's what I want you guys to notice. Alright, I'm just kind of clearing out, so I don't want to have that factory finish on this one. I want it to be kind of dulled out, so we're going to use a flat on this one. Alright, so as I unpackage that flat, I'm just putting a little bit of acetone here to break down anything that should be going through this airbrush. Notice when I use acetone, I use it right away. I don't let it sit in there because it will rust the inside of your airbrush. And you don't want that to happen, because then it becomes a pain in the butt to clean the inside there. Okay, if you look on the inside of mine, actually, you can already see that there's a layer that's more almost like a brownish tone to it on the inside, and that's because I probably left acetone in there for too long. Maybe I left it overnight forgetting about it, and that's what happens. It starts to take off. There's a clear coat on the inside of here. It starts to take that off. All right, so a lot of people will tell you don't use acetone. You could use it, It's just you want to clean it out immediately after you're done with your work. Okay? Alright, y'all. So let me see, we gotta undo the flat. Okay, so here's a flat. The flat's more of like a yellowish orange label here. Let's give it a little bit of a shake. Alright, so that should be good. And let me go ahead and now undo this. Missed it. Ah, there it goes. Cool. Well, that's good, man. You make these easy to take off. Thank God. I think I was struggling on the last time. I had to unbox or unpackage one of these. I think it was one of the alphas, which is not bad either. You know, it's just it's hard for me to peel stuff nowadays. Okay. So again, before I put this in, let me just see how the airbrush tests out. Okay, cool. Yeah, I could see it coming out fine. I could look down in here and see that it's coming out fine too. Okay. So let's go ahead and drop. This is flat top coat. And now I know I'm going to be adding a lot more. The reason being that we're working on a whole shoe and not swooshes. So you already know you're going to be using a little bit more, okay? So I probably put about a 1/4 cup in there. Let's get that green shoe. Here it is. Cool. And I noticed I got a little... Oh, look what happened. Look at this. I think this shoelace was sitting here like this. And then a piece of green came off of it. So we gotta coat these little guys too. I painted these. There we go. Next, what I'll do is I'll just start to jump on the shoe in general. I know I got a little spot there that I gotta clean up. I'll clean that up later. You know, that's not a big deal. I know that this is a finisher, but with such a light coat here, we could just, you know what, we could just do the black real quick. Let me just add it real quick. Let's see if we got you. Since we got it right here, cover it up. Probably don't need more than a dot. But that's funny that at least I saw that beforehand, right? Alright. Same brush that I was just using. Just a real thin coat here. And I'll give that a chance to like settle out a little bit before I start to hit it. So since that's drying, let's start with this side. Alright. Alright, you guys see okay? Hopefully you guys can see that okay. And so what I'll just do is I'm going to be glazing this down. Light layer. Here I'm not aiming for the laces. I'm trying to just get in between the laces there. But honestly, what I'm probably going to have to do later on is take the laces out and just hit the whole shoe. Because I don't want to miss, like, for example, the stuff around the eyelets. You want to protect everything around those things too, you know? So even if you run through and do something like this, it's just probably a little bit more difficult to do. I got black laces, so probably will not show too much. But in general, I try to keep like a nice sweeping motion here. Go all the way down, all the way up, all the way up, all the way down. Just kind of back and forth. And that should give you a nice one light coat there. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing. On this one here, you guys can see that I even did the inside. So that's really important because you don't want that paint to wear out on the inside. You definitely want to coat that. Now how long this will last, I have no clue. This was a concept shoe that I had been requested to do. Still gonna protect it though. Alright, that looks good. Now I'm gonna just do the same thing on this side here. You can see here that little black piece is now kind of settled in. You can't even see where the green mark was. So let me just go ahead and hit it with one nice clean swoop again. I'm going to start from the top. This is very similar to like if you're painting a car, you want to do a panel at a time. As you're doing it, you want to try to keep it nice and even. So you feel like you got the whole thing covered there. And this is kind of why I like to do 2 or 3 coats at most. Because in case you miss the first coat, you can still get coverage on the second and third. Again, this dries completely clear, so when you're all done, the only thing that might change is the sheen or the shininess level here. Nothing else should look any different. And again, it needs to be applied really light. If you apply it too heavy, it might give you a somewhat foggy kind of a look. So I strongly advise you guys, if you're going to use this, especially with an airbrush, you don't want to go overboard on it. Just want to make sure that it's light enough, you know. Now when it dries, it should have a very, very flat look like this, where when I'm moving it back and forth, it doesn't have much of a shine to it. You can see, this is the difference. You can see how it's wet right there and it has a shine to it. So you want to keep the coats light because the goal for this is to have a nice flat finish. And sometimes I've seen that if I lay too much of this on at one time, it doesn't keep that flat finish. So to keep the nice flat finish to it, just a light coat and then let it do its thing. I really recommend you don't even use a hairdryer for it, you know. By the time you're done with this side, you can get to the next part of the shoe and, you know, start working on that one. And as that one's finishing, then this one should be dry and ready for a second coat. Cool? So do you guys have any questions about LK Topcoats? This isn't a paid promotion or anything. I just something that I always don't have the opportunity to discuss with you guys, because when I'm doing a custom, we're usually starting from scratch. We're starting from just a white shoe or a base shoe, and it takes me some time to get to a finished product. So unfortunately, I neglect the finishing part because we generally don't have a lot of time. I do know that, like for example today, this took us an hour to do. I know that we had to do an unboxing and all that stuff, but you know, this does not take a long time to finish up this part of it. And if you have an airbrush, you can see how quickly, I mean, you can knock this out in 5 minutes doing a layer, and then let it breathe, let it do its thing, let it cure, and then another 5 minutes later you can just come back and hit it one more time. Alright? So time is 6:58, guys. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to ask any questions. It doesn't need to be about the actual shoe that I worked on today. If you guys have any customizing questions at all, please let me know. Again, the Patreon guys, if you can get me your latest work as soon as you can, that way I can start posting you guys up on my Instagram page. Really appreciate you guys for all just coming in and always joining, man, and just being here for us, you know. Sadir, what's good, brother? How you doing? So he's made a good point here. He said Alpha Flex, Angelus, and Tarago. Tarago, I've never heard of that before, Sadir. So that's really interesting. Where do you get that paint from? He said those are the three key players in the custom sneaker paint game. So if you're there, Sadir, let me know. I know you said that a while ago, maybe about 10-15 minutes ago. Just had a chance to read that, you know. And Demore said he gave me the primer, man. Let me check this box. Let me check this box, bro. I know I got the primer. I know I've gotten it before, but I don't know if I got it today. So let's see. Nah, dude, I didn't get the primer, bro. I'm looking. But I am old, so I feel you, man. If you thought that I missed it. 2, 3, 4. Pinhole filler. I got the LK stickers. Yeah, and just a bunch of these little doodly things. I don't know what you want to call these guys. Little beans. But yeah, if I get a chance to use a primer, and if you guys want to see how the primers work, man, let me know. Customs by Kev said, what's the pick of? Just newest work? Which pick, dude? I don't know which pick you're talking about. But oh, you know what? I do want to show you guys something before I get off. And if you guys have any questions as well, let me show you guys this finished product. We didn't even talk about that. The last time I was on live, which was last week, I'm gonna just move these guys temporarily. Last week we were working with some Dark Knight soul dye, and I was showing you guys how to make your soles look more vintage when they're a brand new pair of soles. So here is the finished product of that. So you can see it's got that oxidized yellowish look to it. I didn't do the entire, like I could have done the whole thing in the gum bottom, but I decided not to because these glow in the dark, so it's nice to kind of keep this to look all clear as much as possible. And let me show you guys the sides there, just so you can see the browning effect. I mean, that's really what like a shoe would look like, I think, from the 1980s. You can see that and this is what I was talking to Customs by Kev about last time, is we were staining the midsole as well. We used a stainer for that, and so I showed you guys how to do that on the last episode as well. And you can see from here, see? That's like a real... Let's see if I got a 1 here somewhere. I gotta have a 1 around here. Here we go. Here's a one that's done, and here's another one that's done. And y'all could see the difference there between how white and vintage they look. Let's see. I'm trying to get like a good angle for you guys. But this definitely did end up looking a lot more yellow. I don't know if you guys could see that on video or not, but in person, in pictures, man, that's a huge, huge difference between the two. So let me put this back down real quick. Ron, what's good? Customs by Kev, I see you got a question that says, for Patreon. It's going to be on the Patreon channel. I'll show you guys how to do this staining for sure, to give that stained kind of a look. I still have to add the stitching with an awl, which is it's a nightmare, dude. I hate doing it. But it is the last section that I need to do to finish these. These are like a vintage, I did like a vintage 85 look with unions. It's going to be an igloo and a rust pink look. Really try to give it that kind of a beat up, used. You can see the marks and stuff. So yeah, that was the last video we had. So you get yours from Manhattan Wardrobe Supply, Sadir. So you got to be out in New York, or is that some place that you're just ordering from? I'm assuming Manhattan Wardrobe Supply is from Manhattan, right? Oh, Customs by Kev. You said what's the pick of? So for the Patreon members, what I try to do at least once a quarter, I try to shout out all of the Patreon members. What I like for them to do is send me a picture of one of their pieces of work whether it be shoes or a wallet or whatever they've painted or constructed, whatever they've done that they're proud of, I like for them to send it to me so then I could shout them out on my Instagram page so then they can get more followers and more exposure. I think that that's a fair trade-off since they're supporting me. The least I could do is try to support them as well. So that's a great question. I know I just keep mentioning what's the pick of. So yeah, it doesn't need to be their newest work. It just needs to be something that they want to show off. Something that can get them more followers, something that can get them more orders. You know, that's really what the community is supposed to be about, you know. So Sadir, I believe you are you're also Patreon folks, brother, right? There's a very dope artist at Melon Kicks who is known for it, and yes, here in NY because they're made in Barcelona. Oh, okay. So they're a paint company from Barcelona. That's interesting. That's a completely new brand to me, Sadir. So thank you for pointing that out, man. Appreciate that. All right, y'all. 7:05 is the time. Anybody else have any questions? Give you guys one more minute before I head out and get to my next project. We do have stuff coming on the Patreon channel this week. The art, is it the art of detailing? Yes, the art of detailing. So look forward for that. I'll be showing you guys how to hand paint, projects that you might be a little bit intimidated of doing. I've been getting more into doing portrait work and stuff like that. So as I'm learning, I've tried to pass that knowledge on to you guys as well. Yeah, so I'm going to put these guys away. Let me show you guys a final look at the shoes that we worked on today. Again, thank you so much, Jeff, at Liquid Kicks. Flat. Look at that. This is a great product to use if you're looking to do like a battleship gray, if you're looking to do an army green, if you're looking to murder out and do like a flat black, and have that kind of a evil or intimidating look, murdered out look to your shoes. This is the flat. So again, let me show you guys the flat. Top coat is the yellow one. And this is the other shoe we worked on today. This has more of a shine to it. You can see the finished effect here has a little bit of a factory kind of a sheen to it. Exactly what you would get if you were to buy some shoes out the store. And that one there, guys, is... Oh, snap! Man, you were not lying, bro. Look at this. Primer is sitting right in front of me. He did send me the primer, dude. So, good eye, man. Demore, you were right. Good eye. The primer is the purple color. I missed that, dude. Let's see. We used gloss. Factory is the blue one. All right. If you guys want these products, lktopcoats.com. You can use my discount code, which is just the word feel good, and that is one word. All right. With that said, if you guys haven't followed me already on social media, all of my links are up here. Feel Good Threads on Facebook, Feel Good Threads on Twitter, Feel Good Threads on Twitch, Feel Good Threads on LA on Instagram, Feel Good Threads on YouTube. So pretty much Feel Good Threads all around. All right. Not sure if you answered my question about the tape. No, I did not, dude. Let me jump up real quick, bro. My bad, man. Let me see if I could... I painted... Oh, shoot. There it is. I painted the collar on a Jordan 1 High black, and I put blue tape over it so I can airbrush the swoosh. When I pulled the tape off, it peeled some of the paint off the collar. Gotcha. So, Rainan, I'm assuming you're talking about this part of the collar? Is that correct? If you did do that, there could be a couple of things that went wrong there. First thing is if you didn't prep the section right with acetone well enough, then you still had like the factory clear coat on there, and then you paint on top of it, it's not going to stick well. As soon as you put tape on there, it's like waxing. It's going to wax off that layers of paint that you did. Second thing that you could have done wrong is that you did lay it down, but you laid it down too heavy. If you don't lay it down in light coat, and then give it a proper amount of time to dry, then you're working too quickly and it didn't dry. You're going to peel it off, and of course it's going to come off. Third thing that you could have done is, and I kind of just mentioned this in the second mistake, is that if you don't give enough time for it to dry, that when you're putting it down, it's obviously going to peel off, but you have to always give a section of paint that amount of time to dry before you start putting tape on it right away. Okay, so just something to note, you know, the time that you leave those shoes for curing before you put tape on there again, it's important that you give it an ample amount of time. Usually, something like that, I would give even the next day. I'll wait for this paint to dry, because the last thing I want, it might even stay on there, Alan, and you peeled it and you feel like everything's good, but you weaken the bond, so it's still on there, but now it's just barely hanging on, and you don't know until later on when the person wears it that it starts getting scuffed and coming off. So the most important thing is giving the proper amount of time for the paint to dry. Doing it in very, very light coats is another thing. Your last coat that you're finalizing with can be a heavy coat, but that heavy coat needs the right amount of time to dry. Some people will, do a hair dryer. Some people will do a heat gun. I don't do any of that stuff. I like to let it naturally settle and cure. And then the last thing, obviously, you want to put the top coat on there. So what I would have done is I would have put the top coat on there right after you're done with painting it, Alan. Then I would also put a light layer of top coat on there, maybe about 15-20 minutes after your last coat is dried. Then put the top coat on there, let that dry, and then you put the tape on top of it, okay? Because when you put the tape on top of it after the scratch resistant sealer, it's probably now been locked in and sealed, and that'll give you a better finish at the end. You know what I mean? So John B, don't worry about it, man. If you missed the Stainer episode, it was the last week's episode. You can go to youtube.com/feelgoodthreads, and all of our live episodes like we're doing today, they're recorded there. All right, so you can go back and see a whole bunch of different stuff. It's not just the Stainer episode that you probably missed. So just a heads up, man. You can always catch our playbacks back on YouTube. Okay, Alan, did that answer your question, brother? I hope we are good on that. If not, yeah, I know you got me on Patreon. I know you have me on Instagram, and I know we probably even we've spoken on Facebook too. So you can always message me, brother, anytime you want. All right. Any other questions before I let you guys go, man? 7-Eleven. I'm not talking about the store. I'm talking about the time. All right, guys. I see silence, so I think we're good to go. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week. I will try to jump on again this week if I have anything that I can teach you guys. If not, I'm back in the lab learning. Thank you, Kev. I appreciate it. Let me show you guys what I'm working on so you guys know. This is the next product that I've been working on. So if you don't see me on live for a minute, it's usually because I'm continuing to try to educate myself as well, I can't help you guys if I can't help myself. So this is a Jordan 4 that I'm working on here. This is a duffel bag called the Gucci Imprime print. It's almost like a patent leather. I'm working on making my first Jordan 4. This is, you can see a clear sole here, glass and everything. And so I'm just working on the build. I had to take apart a Jordan 4 laser to figure out how to make all the panels and stuff. And boy, this is this is an interesting project, man. It's very, very difficult to make a Jordan 4, especially when you're just learning from scratch. So I'm still working on what am I going to put in the back tab, what am I going to put on the tongue, and we still got to last it, I've got the elastic bands in here that I still got to learn how to put that in with the footbed and all that stuff. So as I learn this, I'm going to be sharing this on the Patreon channel as well, guys. All right. Sadir, message me and I'll give you a link to where I get all of my lasts. I don't have the link immediately available here, but if you want to message me on Instagram, it's feelgoodthreadsla, and I'll hook you up with some good places to get lasts. Just need to know what models that you're interested in doing, okay? Sorry I don't have an answer for you directly right now, but if you do message me, whether it be on Patreon or if you message me on Instagram, I'll get back to you right away, okay? All right, guys, so with that said, man, shout out to Jeff from LK Topcoats, Liquid Kicks, appreciate you. LKTopcoats.com is where you go to get these amazing products. This will be coming up on the Patreon channel soon, and we will get together next week again. Hopefully I'll have something new to share with you guys, you know? Yeah, Raymond, that's the best way to do it, because you finalize that code and you really lock in your paint job there. So glad I could help, man. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.